Greetings, fellow humans. So today we're going to take a look at 5 alternatives to OpenAI's chat service that are actually open source alternatives that are free for you to use in the comfort of your own home without paying anybody anything. Let's get started. So I've identified 5 services that you can run locally on your own machine. As far as I can tell, all of these are based on the llama.cpp or C++ project, which has become sort of the de facto standard for open source large language models of the llama persuasion. And it even comes with its own server that you can run. And the server even comes with its own Python script, which we're going to run today, called API like OAI, right? So this will basically allow you to run this Python script on top of llama.cpp and use that as a drop-in replacement for OpenAI's API with things like Open Interpreter or Autogen. Let's go ahead and install the Llama C++. I'm going to go ahead and create a directory to play around in, and we'll install all of our servers here. All right, let's go ahead and grab the URL. I guess I can just use my Llama cheat sheet here. I'm using NixOS, by the way. And I've done this before, so I know that we're going to need GCC and the CUDA toolkit in order to build this with the CUDA from NVIDIA installed. So this will take a hot minute. Okay, and we're done. Let's go ahead and grab a model so that we can test it out. Skip to the end, and we're done. Now, let's see what she's got. Well, that looks promising. All right. Well, it is definitely generating something. All right. So I only asked it for a little bit of output, so it should cut off relatively soon. Now, let's go ahead and try to run this Python script, shall we? First thing we're going to need is a Python environment, so let's do that. And we're probably going to need some stuff. Let's get in there. All right. So let's find our script here. Right. Well, I'll be jiggered. It did something. Let's see what it did. For that, we're going to do some autogen. All right, I'm going to grab a couple of files that I have prepared in advance. Let's go ahead and take a look at those, shall we? All right. Default.nix gives us a shell that basically has Python in it. So let's go ahead and start there. All right. Now let's create a virtual environment. Cool. All right. Now we're going to need some stuff. What are we going to need? We're going to need PyAutogen. All right. Let's take a look at our Python. And I have never, ever had good luck with that prompt in Autogen, and open source GPT can do it. But let's use a different prompt. All right, groovy. Let's see what it does, shall we? All right. Wah, wah. Looks like we failed to launch the actual server. So we've got a server talking to our other server, but we didn't launch it. So let's do that right now. Right. Let's see. That didn't work. There we go. All right. Should we try that again? Well, that's doing something. All right, well, that looks promising. Let's see what's going on here. Aha. That looks good. All right. So llama-cpp out of the box can do autogen. Your mileage may vary. All right. If mucking about with C++ is not your speed, we can do all of that from within Python itself. So let's go ahead and give that a try, shall we? All right, let's follow the instructions. All right. Doop, doop, doop. web server. All right. And we want to use CUDA. Right? All right. Well, let's, you know the drill, set up a Python environment. And let's give that a try. Groovy. All right. We need a models directory. So let's just use the one from llama.c++. Groovy. All right. Now we should be able to just fire this bad boy up. And we probably need this part here, huh? And there we go. But does it autogen? This service is running on port 8000, so we're going to need to adjust our autogen script here to point to that. All right. Other than that, I think we're just going to blow the cache away here. We're going to delete the results of our previous execution. And, well, let's give it a try. And we're done. That took about a minute on my machine and wasn't terribly fruitful. It looks like we're constrained in the number of characters or tokens we're outputting. But it definitely looks like it's on the right path. I'm not sure I'm going to waste your time troubleshooting it since it's the exact same model. The version of llama-cpp might be older in the Python version, but other than that, I mean, the other thing that might be different here, or is definitely different, you can tell from the output, this is a different web service wrapper on top of the llama-c++. So I don't know enough about what's going on under the hood to tell you more. So let's try out the next one, shall we? Next up is FastChat, and I'm going to use a cheat sheet here because it's another one of those things that is super easy to do if you do it exactly right. So let's do that. We're just going to copy this whole chunk of gobbledygook, paste it right in there, and now I'll explain what all it's doing. So again, we're cloning our repository into a subdirectory of the AI/checkme directory. We're creating a Python virtual environment, activating it, and using pip to install the project locally. Then what we're going to do is we're going to launch 3 individual processes, a server, a worker, and a controller. And then we'll fire up Autogen. So let's go ahead and do that. just as soon as it finishes installing. And there we go. All right. Let's paste that bad boy in there. And that should kick off FastChat. Groovy. All right. Now, let's see if it can autogen. And this should take a couple minutes, and I'll see you on the flip side of that. All right, well, that did not seem to successfully generate any numbers. I don't think it actually ran any code. It generated a lot of Python, though. It sure did. I have no idea what's going on with that. But I would call that a fail. I don't know. I guess we'll try the next one. Next up, text-generation-webui. I think this is my favorite of the bunch. Once again, I've prepared a cheat sheet, although the installation here is relatively simple and straightforward. Let's get to it. All right, so first off, we're going to clone our repository here. And this one also uses Conda under the hood, just like the FastChat did. So let's start our shell here. And I'm going to grab the model that we used last time for FastChat and copy that into the models directory here. You can probably create a symbolic link. Honestly, if you're going to be using more than one web services API, you should probably just have one centralized models directory and do a symbolic link in each of your service app or service folders to that repository. You can also use the Hugging Face command line interface, and that'll do some local caching for you. Here we're going to select NVIDIA, and we do not want to use old CUDA. We want to use new CUDA. I'm pretty sure, since I'm on NixOS and using Python 3.10, I'm pretty sure it was using 11 something for the other ones. I don't know. It's going to take a while to build. Let's see if it works. I know it works. I did this before. All right. This will take, well, it'll take what it's going to take. I'll see you on the other side of that. We are up and running. So first things first, we're going to launch the WebUI. Go over to the Session tab, and I'm going to turn on API and OpenAI. And I'm going to save those settings to the YAML, settings.yaml file. And it's got the apply and restart button, but I don't trust those. I'm going to restart the old-fashioned way. All right. So we're reloading the checkpoint, and we should be good to go. Let's launch another console window here and fire off the Autogen. Okay, we're listening on port 5001. Let's make sure. All right, I did update that during the break. And let's go. Well, that looks promising. I would call that a success. Oh, well, it's supposed to answer with terminate once it's successful. I suspect there's stuff we can do on the Autogen side to make this work better, but I mean, I'm going to go ahead and call this a success, even though it clearly is just going to run until it's all right. Well, that's definitely better than some of the other responses we've gotten. All right, last stop, LocalAI. Once again, I got my cheat sheet. We're basically just going to clone that repository and copy a local copy of the model on in there. We need a couple of packages in order to successfully compile this thing. And I had to install, or basically just download the latest version of Go. I threw it in a directory called work. I copied the binaries into a bin file that's accessible. And I set the Go root, and that will make your Go go. All of this looks like it's complicated, but it's really not. It really should be as simple as just a make build. I threw the build type of kubeless in there to use the experimental CUDA. It doesn't really matter much one way or the other on my machine. It's still really, really slow. But be that as it may, I needed to do this little dance around with the C flags. The compiler stuff was basically required to get this thing to work. It'll go a little chunk of the way, and then it'll crap out. And then you got to make the thing that it crapped out on, you got to make it manually, and then you run it again, and you do that process a couple of times, and it eventually builds. I will spare you watching any more of this scroll up, and I'll see you when it's done. There we go. All right. Now, all we really need to do is set our load library path so that it knows how to find those things, and we can just kick off our brand new LocalAI. There we go. And it's going. All right. It does not appear to be utilizing any GPU just out of the box like that. Let's see. All right. So we got our agent chat. I have updated it to port 8080. I have set the model name. I think we should be able to kick that bad boy off. Let's see. All right. And boom. Let's see what happens. All right. It starts off promising, and it definitely did a little bit of something there with the GPU. But I can tell you right now, it's not going to do anything for another 5 minutes or so until it times out. So I'll see you in 5 minutes, and then we'll kind of summarize a little bit and wrap it up. All right? Deal? See you then. Welcome back. All right. As you can see, it timed out. It actually timed out a little quicker than I thought it would. It timed out after 60 seconds, which means it's totally ignoring my request timeout of 600 seconds. Be that as it may, let's just send it a quick request here and see how long it actually takes to execute a request. All right, I'll see you in about 5 minutes. 4 minutes and change. All right. It answered the question. So, look, I'm pretty sure the 60-second timeout is actually on the Autogen side after looking into it, which means it's probably user error. I think I probably didn't configure it properly. I don't really know as much as I'd like to about Autogen. I'm going to be spending some more time with it. I'm hampered by the fact that it doesn't work particularly well with the open source. So I guess to review, the only one that actually successfully completed the task and did it quite succinctly, I must say, was just the plain old vanilla llama-cpp right out of the box. The CPP-python and the text-generation-webui did a decent job. I think maybe tweaking the Autogen side of things could get that working. I don't know what's up with FastChat. I don't want to harsh on it too much, but that didn't seem to work for me at all. Neither did LocalAI. I'm willing to give them both the benefit of the doubt. I'll probably revisit them in a few weeks. Definitely going to keep my eye on all of these projects because I like the idea of an open source AI. I think letting the cloud own your AI is kind of a non-starter in the longer term. So that could be just like my opinion, man. Your mileage may vary, and I'll see you on the flip-flop. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Cheers.